Hello. I am going to make us a pizza because I gifted out the rest of our potato soup and 2 pies. So we decided, since we done that we would just wait until tonight and eat a pizza. So I'm going to make us a personal pizza. I'm going to make me the little one and him the bigger one. And that's what I'm going to make him on, is these pans. So to get started, I make my own pizza dough. So I'm going to put 2 cups of warm water, about 105 to 110 degrees, and some yeast. I always buy this at the Amish in a vacuum pack by the pound, and then I put it in this jar and put it in the freezer, and it stays really good, and this is the best yeast. So I'm going to put 1 tablespoon, about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of yeast. And then I want to put some sugar in that, and I'll tell you why. Sugar makes yeast grow. So that's a way you can tell if your yeast is any good, is if it grows. So let me just take I thought I had a fork. Yeah, I do. Just take a fork and kind of stir that up. And you don't have to have a mixer to do this. I've got a bread machine, I've got a mixer, but I felt like just doing it this way. So I stirred that up. Just take your, fork and stir your warm water. If you get it too hot, you're going to kill your yeast. If you get it too cold, it's not going to, just kind of 105 degrees or 110. So we'll just leave that set for a minute now. And that was 1.5 tablespoons, almost 2 tablespoons of yeast, dry yeast, and 2 cups of water. And I got my oven on. And the sugar. I put 2 teaspoons of sugar in it. I think I put 2 tablespoons, but it doesn't matter to me. So it makes the yeast grow. So while we're growing the yeast, I'll go ahead and spray my pans. But I want you to watch that yeast grow. Just spray these little pans. I know I've been on here a lot today, but I've just been focused on getting that potato soup, the pies out, and making them, and all this stuff. And the yeast is starting to grow already. So while I'm waiting on the yeast to grow, I like onion on my pizza. So I'm just going to set this yeast over here. And when it grows, I'll show you. And I'm going to go ahead and cut some onion up. This onion's been in the refrigerator, and it's ready to roll. Ready to roll. Actually, I think it's rolled a little bit too much. Let me take this over here. I'm going to use it for something else. My new one out. You can saute that, but I don't want to put it on the pizza. So you can see that yeast just kind of foaming up. When that foams up, it'll be ready to add your other ingredients to. So we didn't have any supper. We just, I don't know what, I cook a lot, but I really don't feel like eating a lot. I drink a lot. But, onion. Supposed to be sweet onion. I took my rings off so I wouldn't get stuff all in them. But I'm just going to take these onions, this onion, and do like this. Slice it thin. And I'll lay it on there like that. And I like green olives, so I'm just going to build it the way I think we would like it. I don't like black olives. Never did, never will probably. If I haven't liked them by this point in my life. I know this is late to be eating, but we just haven't eaten. Oh, he ate a half. Well, no, a little bit more than half pie, I see now. No wonder he's not hungry. I knew he'd do it anyway, so I was already prepared for it. This is what's left of one pie. And that's okay. So, I'm going to stick this onion down in this cup. Okay, I think that's enough onion. Put that over here. And Colette showed me a picture. She found out what this was, this little thermometer spoon. It's a yogurt spoon to put your starter in and your temperature of it. So I did have a yogurt maker one time, and I never used it. And that spoon was probably what was in it. I bought it used, and I never used it. Okay, we're going to try this again. I wiped my can tops off. See, that popped right off of there. This is just a can of cheap spaghetti sauce. And I'm going to add some tomato paste. Because I like the tomatoey taste to my pizza. Popped right off. And I'm going to add these olives and pepperoni and cheeses. So that's the way I'm going to do it. Just add that, thicken that up, and put some really good tomatoey taste in it. I've got some pizza sauce I made, and I've got it in the freezer, and it has hamburger in it. But I don't want to take it out and try to unfreeze it and thaw it and everything else. I can use it for something else. So just going to take that, Mix that up a little bit to make it a little thicker. It's spaghetti sauce, which the cheap spaghetti sauce is kind of like pizza sauce. And when I add this and my other stuff I'm going to put on it, you're not going to be able to taste much difference. I've got pizza sauce in the freezer that I made, but it was when I made the Sloppy Joes, and then I used the pizza sauce. But this will be fine because I want that tomatoey taste. And see how thick that made that? That's why I put tomato paste in it. Because time I put the Parmesan on it and all that stuff, it'll be good. Let me see here. Be right back. Okay, I'm going to put some garlic in it. That's about a good teaspoonful. And then I'm going to put some onion flakes in it. Whoops, let me do it this way. And I'm going to put a little bit of basil in it. It's a little bit. And I'll mix that up. There we go. Now the pizza sauce is ready to put on there. You noticed I didn't put any Italian flavoring in it. Now see, here's the dough. See how that's raising up, getting real foamy? That means your yeast is really good. And I've had this in the freezer. That was filled up, and I had another one for, it's been well over a year. And I'm just now getting down to where I need to go get another one. That over there. Now, to this, I'm going to add, see, we already have our yeast, our water, and a little bit of sugar in that to make that yeast grow. So now that it's grown, I'm going to put a little salt in it. If you put salt in it instead of sugar, it'll kill it. I mean, good chance you'll kill it. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start putting my oil. I want to put some oil in that. That's 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, 4, 5 tablespoons. Okay, now let me get that mixed up a little bit. I've got everything everywhere. Mix that up. See, that's all foamed up. Now go ahead and put there's 1 cup of sugar, or 1 cup of flour, regular flour. There's 2 cups. And we'll mix that up a little bit. And, you know, a lot of times I'll do this on my kneading hook. But it's not necessary that you do that if you don't have one. I mean, when I lived at the old cabin up there, I didn't have all these mixers and all this stuff, you know. So I just did it by my hands. And that's the way I did it. Okay, let me put another one in there now. It smells good. Yeah, that was nice. I've never done that. My grandson and I raised some basil one time. We had them little things you buy at the dollar store, the little cups with the pretty spice, like basil and all that different. There was 3 different kinds. Well, I don't know. Got about done with them, and then I don't know what happened to them. I have never claimed to be a good garden person. Now, when I lived up the cabin, we had the whole front part of that cabin full of garden. And I remember I planted so many cherry tomatoes, it was crazy. And Tom's buddies would come up and they'd get in the garden and eat them cherry tomatoes. I had all kinds of stuff. We had cucumbers. We had a little hill that went out to the road. And we planted just cucumbers out all over that hill, and they were just vining all down over that hill. I mean, it just was good soil up there. Everything growed that you planted. And you know what? Move in town, and the animals eat it all. Live in a country, you think there'd be all kinds of animals eat it, but we didn't have a problem. I don't understand that part of it. Nope, I don't. So I'm going to put a little oil around this on my hands. I just kind of go with the flow on things with it. Of course, I'm going to get my hands all yucky. Now, if you had it in your mixer with your mixer hook, you could do it that way. But I just feel like sitting here tonight doing something. Just get this all balled up here. It'll be pretty in a minute, I promise you. My hands might be a little sticky. Yeah, I like tomatoes. I love tomatoes. Love them. I remember in 2007, I had the prettiest tomatoes. And I tended to them just like babies, you know. I don't know what that is. And that's when I got sick and I was losing blood. And I remember I'd go outside and I'd go to water the tomatoes and I seen stars all around me and I about passed out into them. And well, then I ended up in hospital and then my tomatoes went bye-bye because nobody thought about taking care of them because they was more concerned about me. But boy, they sure was pretty before I went in hospital. And I don't know how many times I about passed out in them things from not knowing I was sick, you know. Let's see how that just... It's so easy to make dough, guys. So easy. See? It's a big old glob of dough. That was I don't know what that was. It looks like a piece of the wood or something. I don't know. It's just maybe I'm seeing things. Probably something off my pies. I washed the table, but I can see I missed a couple after I put that I put the nutmeg on. I spilled a little bit of it, shaking it all over the place. I see a little spot there. So I'm going to let this and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the pan. I'm not just going to let it sit there. But, you know, you just knead that up a little bit. I'll tell you something about flour and yeast. That gluten in that flour loves your hands. That's why I'm not using the mixer. Because that flour, or that gluten in that flour loves your warm hands. And there's nothing you could do better than to finger that flour. If you're going to make bread or anything. There's a 2-ingredient pizza dough I'm going to try. It's only self-rising flour and Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt. It's supposed to make an awesome dough. So let me put this wherever I can put it. Put this back on there. This over here. Got myself in a fix here. Big towel. Should have got paper towels. But I've got all my towels and stuff done now except this one. Got them all rolled up. I roll all my towels. I don't fold them. I roll them and like they do in the motels. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my kitchen scissors. Well, these come apart. I keep forgetting. These will come apart. Oh, that's not the right way, Pamela. Getting late. Now, let me take them apart again. There we go. Did you ever get something so simple apart and then you don't know how to put it back together? And it's so easy. So, I'm going to take these and snip that. Oh, by the way, this reminds me of something. Today I was sitting there and I was kind of feeling like, And this woman pops up on the Facebook. And it was so funny. She was in her sewing room, in her craft room, and she's like, I am so tired. I've been in the house for over 30 days, and I'm so tired of my hair. And it was just everywhere. Her hair, she just washed it and it wouldn't do nothing. So she takes her scissors, her crafting scissors, she starts whacking her hair off. She just pulls it up and starts going like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And she wasn't watching how she was cutting it in the back. It didn't look too bad, only the one side she made a bald spot. She says, you know what? I don't care. She said, I don't care because I'm not going to see anybody anyway, and we haven't seen anybody for a while. And it'll grow back out time they get done messing with this. I laughed and laughed at her. I thought, she's about my age too. I thought, you got guts, lady. I never seen anybody whack your hair like that and it actually not look too bad. So he'll have a pretty thick crust on his. It'll be real yeasty bread like. I don't know what it is I've been wanting to play and do the last couple days. So pizza tonight. Like I said, it loves your hands. I know. Cindy, isn't that funny? I mean, this guy was on there with Juanita Diaries or something. Her husband was on there. And it just popped up on my Facebook. And they were talking, and he's like, and what about Kroger's? He had this accent. He said, and what about Kroger's? He said, that toilet paper. He said, I'd like for y'all to take a moment of silence for my behind. Took his hat off, and I'm like, oh my goodness, where these guys come up with this stuff? You're whacking your hair off and everything. So, I guess we've been in too long. So I'm just going to roll mine out. Basically, I love thin crust, but this is going to be a little thick because I'm not going to waste it. Just put a little bit of oil on you there, or melted butter or something, you know. I didn't put any butter on this at all. I've got plenty of butter, but I just didn't put it in there. It's just going to be a little pizza. Smells just amazing is what it smells like. Really good. It kind of smells like a pizza shop. It's pretty good. And it just, I love the smell of it. That yeast and all that stuff together. Okay, now I'll go ahead and there it is. I'm going to go ahead and take some of this and just put it on there. I think that's plenty. Easy to make homemade pizzas. And then now I'll get mine out of the way and put his sauce on. And I'll probably have a little left, I'd say, and I'll just put it in the refrigerator and add it to some spaghetti or something, or else if I'm not going to make it soon, I'll put it in the freezer with the rest. Drag it all out. He likes the yellow banana peppers, but I don't have any. I asked him if he wanted some when we went to the store, and he said no, so I didn't get them. I put them on my subs sometimes when I make them. And if I go in there tomorrow and I see some, I'm going to be upset with myself because I'm sure I didn't get any. There we go. So we got his sauce on there now. Now, what do I put on next? I want to put a little bit of the Parmesan cheese on. These before I do the rest of the stuff. And this is the real shredded Parmesan cheese. What I was going to do with this is I was going to show you guys how to make real Italian Alfredo sauce. I never make it, I never get it out of the jar. I don't like it out of the jar. But you can make a real Alfredo sauce real easy. And Alfredo's noodles, real easy. And it's the way the Italians do it when they make it up. So I'm going to put some Parmesan to give it a little flavor burst. But that's why I got it. I was going to show you guys, but now I'm gotten into it, so I'll have to get some more. So now I'm going to throw us some onions on there. Looks like a lot of onions, but I'm meaning it to be. Now I'm going to put some on my little pizza. Just kind of scatter them out a little bit thinly. It smells amazing, really. I'm going to have extra onion too. I cut too much. I mean, I could have mine all over it. No, I'd love it. That's the way I am. So there, we got the onions on. And I'll just put them in a bag, what's left over. Okay, now, I am going to put a layer of mozzarella on top of that. So I'm kind of stacking it. Hi, Faye. I'm making me and Tom a pizza. He gets the big one. I get the small one. So I'm going to put a layer of the regular mozzarella on top of them onions. And just stack the cheeses as I go. And I'll be putting more in, believe me. And my pup loves this stuff. She's 11 years old, but she loves mozzarella cheese. So if I don't have the cheese sticks, I give her this shredded for a treat. Been giving it to her for years, and she's been fine. Okay, there's that. Now, how about the olives? All right, am I going to get this open? Yes. Let's see. I always smell them, make sure they're okay. I just bought them, but I still smell them. And you know, olives are really salty. These are for your salad. They're not, some of them's kind of halved and everything. So if we just had them peppers. My mother-in-law, she would make pizza, big, cookie sheet pizzas. And she put everything. We absolutely loved them. I mean, she would put hot dogs, hamburger, anything she had, she put on them. Tom's, I'll do mine. And we loved them. And you never knew what you was going to get on them, just whatever she had. And the special thing was them hot dogs. I loved them hot dogs on there. I've got hot dogs, but I'm not going to put them on here tonight. I don't hardly ever eat them anymore for some reason. When we lived at the cabin, we had to eat a lot of that kind of stuff. So I love olives, I'm telling you. I haven't had an olive in probably over a year. Ooh. Salty, salty. I've been drinking on this all day. Just take little sips every once in a while in between my waters. Okay, now we got that. Now we're going to put some more mozzarella, and then I'll put the pepperoni on top. Looking around and see if I'm missing anything. How many knows you got to have a lot of cheese on your pizza? We don't eat pizza a lot. We ordered pizza when our grandson was here, but usually if I eat it, I want to make it. Because I know what I'm doing with it. These are my hands. Okay, I think that's plenty enough, Pamela. Plenty enough. All right, now I'm going to do the pepperoni. And I bought this great big Vernon Manor pepperoni value pack. And that was when my grandson was here last month, because I was going to make, I was going to go ahead and make pizza buns and pizza subs, and that way he'd have something if we made something we didn't like. Well, that didn't happen. So now I've got this big bag of pepperoni. So I'm going to use some tonight. But it's already kind of cut. I think it's just in pieces they've cut it up. See, that one there's a big piece. That's why it was probably on sale, because some of it's in chunks. There. So there we go. I don't think we need anything else on us. There's probably stuff you'd want to put on yourself, but the only thing I wished I had was the yellow banana peppers. I really like them. And so does he. And mushrooms, never mind. Never mind. I got mushrooms out of somebody brought them to me from the woods, and I cleaned them. Put them in salt water and everything. Deep fried them. Or fried them. And I got so sick, I can't even eat one. I can't eat them morel mushrooms anymore. I can't even eat a mushroom. If something makes me real sick, I never forget it. So stay away from it. And I took another chance with the morel mushrooms 2 years ago and got sick again. So I must be allergic to them or something. So I just leave the mushrooms out. How about that? No mushrooms. So there's our beautiful pizzas. Now I'll stick these in the oven, and that I always put the pepperoni on top because I like that to curl up and bake real good. So I'll put a picture down. Let me get you here. See, you see them real good here, and my mess around it, of course. Tom's pie he's almost eat. But that's what it looks like. And how many, it didn't take us very many minutes to, I've never had an English muffin pizza. That sounds good. That probably would have been a good route for me tonight. But there it is, and there's my little baby pizza. It ain't such a baby, but it's so cute. I've been wanting to use that little pizza pan for a long time now. So we're just going to bake these, and I'll put them in the oven. And that's what I won't either, Linda. I will not eat them either. You should have come down and got you a pie there, Linda. My neighbor. See? Custard pie. Yeah, that's right, Cindy. Quick in a pinch. Anything quick like that is nice. Yes, I use sauce. And I used just a little can of spaghetti sauce I had sitting there. And I added tomato paste to it because I like the tomatoey taste with all that gunk on it. You know, it all bakes down in there together. And I'll probably turn the oven up and let that, at the end, and let that pepperoni really get done and curled and all that stuff, you know. Yeah, there's sauce on it, see? I just mixed it up in this. Tomato paste and spaghetti sauce. I have pizza sauce, but I've stocked my shelves and I didn't feel like going through them. You've probably seen a picture. I stocked them all up in almost alphabetical order. So there they are, everybody. My little mess in between. All this big mess here I got to clean up now. Tom will have that pie eat, so I'll have a pie dish to wash tomorrow. So here we are. I'm going to get this in the oven so that he and I can finally eat. So I think the only thing he's eat today is pie. He's gotten into that pie and stuff, so... At Campbell's, Linda, just add water? What kind of... Oh, okay. Well, I'll try it sometime, but I really like kind of making the bread like pizza dough. I kind of like that. I like that yeast that I get down there and stuff. But anyway, God bless you all, and I'll have to try it sometime, Linda. Okay, Linda Wilson, I'll put the recipe on. It's pretty simple. So I'll put that dough recipe. You want the dough recipe, right? So I'll put the pizza dough recipe, and you can do it in your stand-up mixer if you don't do it like I did it. Just in the bowl, and there you are. Voila. Good pizza dough. So, good night, everybody. I love you, and I'll talk to you later. And I will post a picture when they're done. God bless you.